Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and welcome again to Endless Legend and again with the Cultists playthrough slash tutorial. If you follow my channel you are aware that I already did a Cultist playthrough slash tutorial which for the first time in the history of my channel actually ended with the defeat. I was defeated, I decided to concede the match because I knew that there's no way for me to make a comeback and win the game. However, I also believe that we have learned many things from this defeat, and in addition to that, the map was randomed in a very inconvenient way for us, as you have seen in my previous series, which are actually going to be tied into this series. I'm going to put all of them in a single playlist because this is all the same Cultist playthrough slash tutorial. I'm just starting it all over again. But since I'm not going to repeat all the things I said in the previous series, I'm just going to reiterate on them, remind you of the most important stuff, and also add some new tricks that I have learned after I have lost the last game. So let's go into a new game. How is it going to look like? Well, for the most part similar, but there are some differences. Firstly, as I said last time, and this is also the case this time, I do not want this game to last for too long, so instead of 8 factions I actually decreased the number to 6. Secondly, what size is now going to be appropriate for the amount of factions. Last time I'm pretty certain we went for a map size that was smaller than recommended for the amount of players we had. I believe it was normal with 8 players. This kind of scenario is very bad for the Cultists, because Cultists, as I said before, need a little bit of a breathing room before they engage in their first battle against any other opponent, otherwise they will be squashed really early on, as I said numerous times and as you have also seen. In my general experience I can say that when you go for any number of players, try to adapt what says to it. I know it's fun to go for something too small, too large, but generally it tends to create some imbalances. Like, for example, I mean, many factions benefit from being further away from their enemies, but there are some factions that don't, and in general, the disparity is just too large. It's better if you want to try have a more balanced-ish experience to go for what is recommended, because those recommendations are fairly good, all things considered. As for other settings, I'm going to leave them as they were last time. So this is the exact same game. One small difference, I want to have 2 continents without any chance of randomization because there are only 6 players now, which would mean that the game would be pretty dull if we had 3 continents, for example, or if we just had 1. Let's have 2 and have a bit more of a stable experience. I was a bit tempted to go for everything random, as some people have suggested, but I believe that the results could quite easily be just not good enough for a tutorial type of video. It could create a hilarious experience for sure, but something that is not very viable when you want to learn something. No, we want to learn from the mistakes that I made last time, and although I believe I have watched the previous series quite closely, and I don't believe I made too many mistakes, I really was unlucky to be bottlenecked in so early. There were some things I can improve on, and I will improve on them during this series. But overall, I was also unlucky. No matter how I looked at it, I had to admit that, okay, I could improve this and that, but I was also unlucky. So, let's try and set up the players. Firstly though, I'm only going to have 6 players, so there are a few players that will be missing. And those are the colors of the players that will be missing, because I do not want to have any Wild Walkers or Broken Lords. Now, the reason for this is fairly simple and I'll explain it right away after I set up the players, because otherwise I'll get horribly confused. So you're like this, you're like this, your roving clans are supposed to be pink, aren't they? Yeah, okay, so you're this, and then we've got the dragons. So the reason why I didn't put in the Broken Lords and the Wild Walkers is this. AI as Broken Lords has no idea what it's doing. Every single time, every time I've seen AI try to play as Broken Lords, it just fell flat on its face. Unfortunately, AI is not yet capable of playing this faction well. It always has like 3 or 4-ish cities, each with like a population of 3, and it pretends to be as good as everybody else. And score-wise, they really are doing very well, but that's only because AI on endless difficulty, which obviously is what we're playing on, AI on this difficulty is cheating like crazy, and those Broken Lords are the testament of that. But either way, they don't know how to play, and I'm not going to include them. I had to kick somebody out, and since AI is so bad as Broken Lords right now, I decided to make it Broken Lords. What about the Wild Walkers? It's the opposing scenario. because AI is actually really good as Wild Walkers, and it tends to dominate other AIs fairly consistently. I've played several games in single player so far. Most of the time I've seen endless AI Wild Walkers defeat other endless AIs. So I want this to be a more of a consistent battle, and AI as all the other factions seems to be fairly consistent in terms of how good it is. This could be just, you know, random experience. It could not be really something that I have confirmed that is always going to happen, but it is my experience so far. Anyway, that's good enough of an introduction. I'll now generate the words, so I need to pause the recording, and I'll be right back. Alright, I have just finished generating the world, and this is what we are given. I have some bad flashbacks of the last game because the climate we are in is exactly the same, but I can already see that there are some very good differences, and that difference is this anomaly, Mejordia, or however you're supposed to pronounce it, I have no clue. That's a pretty good one because it gives us happiness, we need it quite badly. Additionally, we still have the Salt Desert. I don't really like the distribution of forest and other towns because, yeah, you see what I mean? I can either start with a decent amount of both food and industry production and with a bit of dust to boost, which is nice, but not a whole lot of science. It's still going to be better than last time with the 6 science from Mejordia, or whatever, but getting more science would require me to expand my city to the east. But then I will not gain more industry because industry is in the northwest. Not liking what I'm seeing so far too much, although it's still not that bad and I think it's better than last time. Still, I do need to scout a little bit more to see more of the land that I'm in, because maybe there is something better. There are spices in my southern region. That's absolutely amazing, and I think I'm going to settle in this region now. I mean, it was pretty much a given that I will do something like this, but now I'm much more inclined to do exactly that. So I'm actually going to move this guy. It doesn't matter really too much. I'll probably move my settler to this top, but it doesn't matter if I do or not. There's some chromatic land that doesn't matter too much because I'll probably not have a city in this vicinity. Alright, let's get another preacher scouting. You know how much I hate having separated my scouts from my hero Exo, because then I can't assign my... I will have to reassign my hero, which is pretty bad, because then I cannot reassign him again. Alright, so good news and bad news. Good news, double spices, fairly decent start. I would consider this a better start than last time. Great. Bad news. I have a very bad feeling that this village is the only one I'm going to get. But it's the Kazanji village, which is the best one I can ask for. Alright, that's actually pretty good. It's actually... yeah, I'm having good feelings about this run already. It starts much better. It's not an amazing start, but maybe that's for the best. After all, this is supposed to be a tutorial of sorts. And that tutorial is best when you are in a bad spot. At least that's how I view things personally. If you are having an easy time, then it means that you do not have much to teach other people because, well, everybody else would probably also succeed in the situation you are in currently. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and settle a city right here, and so far things look to be fairly good, but unfortunately I do now have to make a choice that I discussed in the first videocast of the previous series. I can either focus on industry exclusively or wait until I have 2 population and then focus on the industry. I like having more population, as you know, to operate, so I'm going to wait until I have 2 population and then focus on industry. Meanwhile, Founders Memorial, yes, I'm going to try and work on it as much as I can. In my opinion, it's better to grow up extra worker faster than to save 2 turns on Founders Memorial. In the long run, in my opinion, this is a better idea. Research-wise, Holy Trinity again? For the most part, yes, I will modify my build order, or rather my technological build order later on, but so far, even though I was really tempted to change this build order around, I did not find a sufficient proof that it is actually a good idea. I was thinking about, for example, changing the placement of seed storage and the public library, maybe rushing something else. I did a few experiments. I didn't try too hard with those experiments, I'll be honest, but I did experiment a little bit, and I still believe that the Holy Trinity is the best. No matter how I look at this, it's just a really good build, especially for the Cultists, because keep in mind you never make any settlers, so the seed storage always gives you benefits. Whereas for other factions, it doesn't always have to give you benefits, because when you make a settler, your seed storage is basically idle and useless. Alright, I'm going to end my turn, and what I'll do on the next turn might surprise you a little bit. I'll move both of my scouts back together, I'll merge them, and I'll explore with only one scouting party at a time, in only one direction at a time. It's something I've been thinking about, and generally my belief is that as the Cultists, you actually want to play more of a 3x game than a 4x game, trying to ignore the explore part. You still have to scout a little bit, sure. You need to discover more minor factions, you need to scout more ruins and whatnot, but for the most part, it's actually not that bad if you scout less than you otherwise would, and I'll give you some opinions on why this is as we move along, because those benefits will reveal naturally to you. They will reveal themselves naturally rather than be revealed. Anyway, I'm going to move my picture back now, in more or less this direction. What I want to do later on is merge him with my hero, because I want my hero to level up as quickly as possible, and I do so by searching my ruins. So I'm going to go ahead, search this ruin for 30 dust, not too bad, and now I'm going to make a beeline back to this ruin over there, even though I sacrifice a bit of scouting this way. Now this is not exactly what I was talking about when I said that I'll sacrifice a bit of scouting, but we're getting there. Founder's Memorial done in 2 turns. I can also speedily buy it out, which I'll never ever do, because this would be a little bit silly. Can I move population out? No, I want it to be done in 2 turns, and because in 1 turn I'll have Mill Foundry already, or rather access to it, which is pretty good. So I need to have as much industry production as possible to keep up with my science production. So far so good. I'll keep a dust stockpile in case I do not have enough industry to really keep up with my science. Alright, I need to convert 2 minor faction villages to the court. Obviously the first thing I need to do, or the first village I need to convert, is this Kazanji village, because I so desperately need to have Kazanji on my side. With Kazanji you gain more influence gain, and with more influence gain you obviously can convert even more villages in the future. It's really nice Deus Ex Machina, really, because it lets you just grow your empire exponentially over a really short period of time if you do it well, and if you can utilize this boost, in other words, if you find other minor factions. Now you may be saying, wait, if you need to find more minor factions so badly, then why do you say we should neglect scouting? Well, it's not really neglecting scouting that I want you to do, but instead, for example, don't have too many scouting parties. That's like the first thing. If you can, at the start of the game, have all your pictures in one army with your hero and keep exploring in one direction if possible, try to not make any turns, U-turns or anything. Pick a direction, keep scouting it. If you find something you find worthy of your attention, like a minor faction or ruin, get it, that's great. Of course, it does have the downside of you not seeing what is in the regions around you. So for this reason, what I like to do is firstly go into one direction and then make a circle, if possible, around your southern region. This way you do not have to backtrack, but at the same time you know what is around you and you don't have to spend too much dust on maintaining extra scouts. Is this worthy? Is this a good idea? Does it save you some dust? It does save you some dust. It's a risky idea, because you are risking the fact that you will not discover more ruins or more minor factions as quickly as you otherwise would. But at the same time, it is also a less risky idea, because simply speaking, if you don't have to rely on finding those ruins and minor factions in order to keep yourself alive. If you don't find them, then well, too bad, you didn't lose too much. Whereas if you did send several scouts around and you do not find any ruins, then you are in pretty bad shape because you cannot pay for those scouts. Additionally, there is also something else that I really need to say. Seriously, I have to destroy a village? That's the worst question I can get. Quest, not question. It's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. The only worst one is, in my opinion, too many chiefs, which is just abysmally bad and it needs to be rebalanced. Anyway, other reason why I don't want to scout too much is actually a bit easier to understand, and this is actually the main reason why I want to scout as little as possible as the Cultists, and it's actually fairly simple. I just don't want to meet other major civilizations, major factions. Why is that? Well, that's purely because as soon as I discover them, they are prone to declaring war on me or doing some other negative actions towards me. In multiplayer, this is more risky, because just because you didn't meet somebody doesn't mean that somebody is not going to attack you. But when you are dealing with endless AI usually is only going to start planning aggressive actions against you a few turns after you have met it for the first time. So you have a little bit of time before things really get bad or out of control. Also, this region would have been a much better starting region for my city. If I could settle on those hidden springs, gain access to the Earthspine and Mihordia here, later on grabbing exotics, this would have been the best. And this is why sometimes when you play as the Cultists, you just want to kill yourself, because there was no way of me scouting this. Even if I send my preacher all the way east on the first turn, I would only see the Earthspine, I wouldn't have vision over Hidden Springs and Mihordia, and I would be like, okay, this looks nice, but I don't want to wait too long before selling my city, and I wouldn't. Now I wish I would, because wasting a turn or even 2 turns to get to this area would be a good idea, because it's so good, but we only get to settle our city once and we cannot move it, so we have to deal with what we have. Alright, our hero has leveled up, this is nice. I'm going to actually not even wait 1 turn. Sure, by exploring this ruin I would give my hero more experience, but I need to assign him to my city ASAP once he gets his first ability, because then he can give my city extra fitzy. And additionally, influence boost is also very important, because as you can see, right now I'm getting 6 influence per turn, which is very important and very useful as well. Now, with the population I have right now, what do I want to do and what can I do? I want to grow as quickly as possible, so because Barrel Streets will take me 5 turns regardless, and because I'll focus on storage first anyway, I'm going to move some of my population around. And I'm not going to move the second population into food production, instead I'm actually going to move it into influence production. So now I gain 9 influence by the end of this turn instead of 5, I believe it was. Was it 5? It was actually 6. So I gain extra 3 influence, which is, in my opinion, very significant, and as I said, I do need all the influence I can get in order to convert other villages. Now, what I need to do is also go ahead and talk to those Kazanji guys, because maybe they have an easy quest to fulfill. It's of course a bit of a gambit. I do not know if they do have an easy quest to fulfill. For crying out loud, I hate you too. Stupid empty ruins. But if they do have an easy quest, then that's good. Those guys, yeah, I have to kill them, and there's no way of me to avoid this. The only way I can avoid killing them now is by killing this village and failing this quest on purpose, because right now I cannot talk to those guys, I cannot parley with them, I cannot bribe them, I have to kill them, and if I don't want to kill them, then I have to kill those guys to fail my quest. Those are the only 2 options I have, and this is why I hate this particular quest so much. Alright, do I want to buy out the seed storage? It is tempting, I have to admit, but I would much rather just wait and get in 2 turns, in all honesty. And I'm going to move my population back from influence. Now it will not help really. Alright, let's make it like so. I like what I'm seeing here. Let's keep on trucking. Things are fine and steady so far. And also, I need to rename the city. But I don't want to rename it back to Warsaw again, because last time it didn't work too well, now did it? I'll think of a cool name after I end this videocast, I guess. So let's keep on exploring, see what else I can find. Unfortunately, this region is pretty much worthless in terms of exploring for me, because I cannot talk to the inhabitants of said region, but I guess I'll at the very least explore a little bit more. Now, if I were to pacify those Kazanjis somehow, I would already have enough influence to do it, but I cannot talk to them right now. I'm going to try and loop around like this. I'm actually going to go ahead and break my own rule of going like a circle motion. I'm just going to make a beeline to the Kazanji now, because it's so important to get them. I'm really lucky to have the Kazanji on my side. Am I going to make any preachers? No. They are not worth my industry. This is one of the conclusions I have from my last video series. Preachers are good. They are important to have in your army because of the significant bonuses they provide you with. But the starting 2 preachers are good enough. If you can keep them alive and use them to support the rest of your newly created army, that's great. That's what you need, and that's what you should try and focus on. Because you really want to save your industry to make some early structures, as well as make some early units, which in my opinion is simply more important. Alright, can I move you a little bit? Yes, indeed I can, but it gives me no benefit. How about I move you all? This does give me a very nice benefit of extra science, which I do want and need. So I'm gonna get a public library. What about research? What do I want now? Desperately, I desperately want to gain access to fanatics. They are very important, and by gaining a decent amount of them early on, I'll be given more options to pacify villagers early on as well. Because in the past, I had to mostly rely on doing quests for other villagers, possibly bribing them. but sometimes you just don't have the time to do this. You need to convert a village ASAP. You will have the influence for this, because as you can see, our influence again is already very significant. So what you need is just some extra firepower. Fanatics do provide you with this firepower. This is one of the ways that I was considering changing the build order around, in fact, when I was experimenting with this earlier before. What I was doing sometimes is go for Mill Foundry first, into Public Library, into Fanatics, then Seed Storage, and then Mercenary Market. This is one of the builds I also tried. It wasn't that bad, but I think it's more beneficial to go for Seed Storage, into Public Library, and then into Fanatic. I think. It still needs some more work. I didn't unfortunately have enough time to fully test this theory in a full game, but what I could I tested, and my opinion, stick to the old build. Alright, we're moving along quite fast. Soon enough we'll have access to the new Empire plan. I have a lot of influence, so I can go crazy with the Empire plan. But honestly though, I don't really think I want to, because I'll need this influence for conversion. And in early game, what Empire plan do I... Oh no, stop, I need a quest from you. What Empire plan do I really want? Undead, that's a really nice faction to assimilate as well. Good unit and a good bonus, so let's parley with them as well. What do they want? 10 glass steel. That's gonna be fairly difficult. I don't think I have glass steel in my starting region. What I could do though is bribe them and convert them, so I already immediately gain some benefits from having those guys. And you know what? Since I'm standing here already, I'm going to do so. Yes, this will increase the cost of converting the Kazanji, but before I get to them, it will take me 3 turns anyway, 4 in fact, because I have no more movement. And what I need to do, quite badly, in my opinion, is to start gaining some benefits from converting villagers ASAP. So let's do it right away. I'm going to bribe those guys for quite a bit of dust, but it's good enough. I failed the quest, but it only gave me pacification anyway, so it's not a big deal. And now I'm going to convert those guys for 20 influence. Great, now I have an undead who I can attach to my army. Thankfully he's flying, otherwise I would have some problems. Oh no, there's no cliff there anyway. So this army is now fairly decent. It can fight against a single neutral unit, so I don't have to retreat. And at the same time, I'm already start gaining some benefits from this ended village. Not too many, because it's right next to the border, unfortunately, but it's already giving me some benefits, so my city is already going to go out ahead. So this is something that you, in my opinion, need to do quite badly when you play as the Cultists. When you have the chance, convert a village. Just do it. Really, literally, listen to Nike. They know what they are saying when they say just do it. It's the right course of action for the Cultists. Alright, Ball Streets and Fanatics in 2 turns. This seems like a sweet spot for us, but I do want to have more influence if possible, so I'm going to move some of my population into influence gain, so I have 12 per turn. And also, can I gain more population in any way? Yes. Ball Streets now will take 3 turns. I don't like that, but this seems like a very nice spot. Again, decent science, dust, influence in production and food. Everything will finish in 2 turns. Extra population, extra science, extra production, and I'll have a decent amount of influence as well. Great! Things are going splendid so far. I bet that score-wise I'm very far behind, and indeed I am, but this is, as I said, something that will always happen when you play against Endless AI. No matter how good you are, you have to play catch-up. And after some point, probably like in mid-game, that would be my guess, that's when it happens most of the time. In mid-game, you'll start to catch up to AI, Endless AI, and probably start beating it. But before mid-game, it's purely impossible. Alright, I have 5 turns to discover F you game. You are so mean sometimes. Oh hey, you're gonna get some kind of reward if you get to this rune on the other effing continent, or just an island, within 5 turns. For which I need this technology. Yeah, Game Stardust hates me. Alright, so when we go into Empire Plan, is there anything I want? Nothing whatsoever. Unit cost reduction would be decent on Fanatics. And actually it's only 10 influence. I want this, yes. 20% size is good and tempting, but in early game it's not good enough to spend extra 10 influence on it, in my opinion. I will not have enough population to give to dance production, and vision is nice, it really is. But I am not willing to spend my influence, so I'm going to lower the cost of my units, because I'll actually be making as many fanatics as I humanly can, because I need to have a big army as quickly as possible for both pacification and war purposes. If there is anything we have learned from my previous failure, it's that you will not have a peaceful time as the Cultists. They are a relaxing faction to play as, yes, but you have a fairly tough time. And of course there's already 2 of you. Really? Really? Now this is a little bit annoying. They'll probably attack me and 2 of them can kill this army. They can. Alright, Fanatic. 2 10s. Not good enough. I need this guy in 1 10. Alright, like so. It's better. So I need 4 population in there. And then I'll put the rest into death production, because I'm about to have some death problems soon enough, so I need to fix that. And before I actually start making you, dear Fanatic, I forgot to improve you with some better stuff. So first things first, I kind of want to rename him, but this takes too much time. I'll rename him after I end this recording. So do I want improved movement? Yes, because this guy needs to move on the battlefield as fast as possible. Do I want more stuff? Yes, I do. And this Fanatic is no better. He costs more, but I can deal with that. So, dear Fanatic, can I make you still in 110? No, I need to move some more population into production. A lot more, in fact. And I still want to be able to make you in 110. Alright, I'm making 50 industry per 10. That's how much I can spend. So, let's lower the cost of this guy. I'm willing to sacrifice this. And what else can I sacrifice? I do need to have extra initiative, I think. Let's check really quickly how good those demons are. They have 37 initiative, so I will not beat them in initiative anyway. Alright then. 37 initiative, and I will not beat them anyway. So let's resign from this. That's 68, that's 58 industry. So now I lower... Can I get rid of the helm? That's 55, that's still too much unfortunately. So can I go for just the helm? That's 53. Actually, this guy's on base costs 50. How was I able to make him with less than 50 industry then? Wait a second, what? Am I looking at this wrong? What? How is this possible? Do I have some industry saved up from the last 10? I think I do. You know what it is? I didn't use all my industry production on the last 10, which carries over for 1 more 10 in Endless Legend, by the way. So I have a little bit more industry. Unfortunately, I don't know how much exactly, but I guess it's around, let's say 11 industry, because I can make this Fanatic in a single 10. No, wait, he costs 40. Oh, right! Empire plan! Gotcha. Sorry, I was a little bit retarded back then. So let's actually try to give this guy this breastplate, and he should cost me exactly 44. Hey, can I go for the... I'm too lazy to do math, by the way, but can I also go for the extra health? Actually, extra health is maybe not as important as extra movement on the battlefield is, but actually, you know what? I like what it is. 5 population in return for a Fanatic in 110. That's pretty good. And the extra population I can put on dust production, because I do need to gain more dust. I also need more influence, that's true, but I only gain 3 extra by putting population there, and I am about to start having problems with dust. Alternatively, extra population in just 4 turns is also very tempting. And I'll do just that, in fact. Alright. So this will be a problem. I need to keep this army alive very badly, and I do not want to retreat either. So this will be okay though, I think. I'll have a reinforcement of Fanatic and a hero, who I think I may need to retrofit a little bit. Extra improved movement would be useful, but that's a lot of dust. No, I'm not willing to retrofit him for this much. But this actually is a very expensive piece. No. Let's not retrofit him. Let's see if I can possibly run away from the Kazanji. Because there's a cliff there. How can you get over there to this tile? I don't know. Probably I can. Alright, I'm not even going to ask how this happens. I'll try to run away and hide inside my city, because if I can, I want to avoid fighting those Kazanji until I'm ready for... Oh no, it's winter. It is effing winter. Can I make it? Can I make it? Can I make it? Yes, indeed I can. Noops! I click faster than you do. Alright, good. This means that my army will be ready to fight those bastards next time, because I'll have yet another Fanatic. Unfortunately, winter started, so I gain much less of everything on every 10, but I can make another Fanatic in just 1 10, which is great. And it is exactly what I'll do. And then I'll continue making my city. Now, there is a question. Do I want a triangle, or do I want to make a line as the Cultists? But since usually it's actually fairly dependable, as Necrophages, for example, lines are more efficient. As many other factions, triangles are more efficient purely because you probably will not have enough population to make a good line anyway. As Cultists, however, triangles are still more efficient, even though your city will be ginormous, but you can have level 3 districts, so triangles are our friends. So do I want to make a triangle on this town or on this town? That is the question. I kind of want to gain access to sea as early as possible, so I'm tempted to make this kind of triangle. It would not give me any extra industry production though, and I do need its... Well, you know what? Industry is important in early game, but later it's not as important. However, I'll keep this city forever, including late game, so I think I'm going to keep expanding in this direction, because, yeah, I'll just do it. Alright. This seems like a legit strategy. I am losing dust each turn, but it's still fine-ish. So what do I want to do? Well, with this army, I feel much more confident when fighting against the Kazanji. And if I can gain an additional fanatic and exchange him for one preacher who will become my reinforcement, then this would actually be great. Alright, I'll do this. I will not leave my town just yet. In fact, I'm going to put all my units inside the town, so I spend a little bit... Oh, for crying out, I forgot. I forgot that now I cannot create an army because I put my units inside a city. So I cannot make this fanatic. And I cannot move them out of a city because they have no more movement points. Mistakes happen, everybody, okay? Some of them are really dumb. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. So in this case, what I'm going to do is focus on other things. So let's make sure that I do have some food, some dust gain as well, because I'll need that. Can I get even more food production? Yes, let's do it like so. Basically making no progress. I'm not doing almost anything this time in my city, but it's okay. It's a mistake I made. And research, I almost forgot. I now have access to the marketplace. Alright, good. Let's check the heroes really quick, because... Cultist hero, that's what I need. I need him really badly. He is going to be my army leader, as it looks like. Army damage and army defense boost. This is really good. Really good, just in general. And yeah, I want this guy to lead my armies. That's cool. He is not an exclusive, so he can be bought out by other players. But AI does take some time, not very long, but some time to buy out units. Or heroes, so I'm good. I could also spend dust on buying out some of those mercs, who are pretty good and cheap in this early stage of the game, but I would much rather save dust on a hero. So I'm actually tempted to focus on dust in a bigger way, like so. I'll have 100 dust next turn. Nah, I need to keep on growing, but I want to grow because it's winter, but it's about to end. Alright, let's do it like so. And science-wise, what do I want to go for next? I want to get dice. And what is the resource in the ended region? Do they have a resource I see? No. Do they have an access? No, I don't know if they have an access to any resources yet. But I need the empowerment though quite badly. I need dice even more though, so I'll start by getting dice first and then I'll go into empowerment. And this will be good enough for era 1, then I'll advance to era 2. But I'll still want to gain access to Alchemist Furnace. And unfortunately, no matter how I do look at this, as Cultists, you want to gain more than the minimum amount of tech in tier 1. You just cannot avoid it. You need a lot of things. You really do. Alright then, let's end this turn like so. Fairly nice, gain some extra dust. Why is it only 88? Strange. I don't know, something was probably not taken into account. Anyway, my hero leveled up. Obviously, I'm going to improve his super also amazing ability of Doom. And meanwhile, in my city, I'm going to move this army and... It looks like I can no longer cross this cliff for some reason. Or rather, I can, but my army... Alright, it's because there is forest over there, and the game thinks that I don't want to step on the forest now. But I do, because I want to avoid the Kazanji if possible. So let's walk over there. Let's make my fanatic. Thank you very much, game, because I do want to have a little bit more of firepower, because those are two demons. I could kill them, but I cannot sustain too much damage while killing them. It's very important that I do not. Meanwhile, my city, yeah, minimizing the losses on the dust front, or actually... yeah, I cannot afford to be growing this... No, you know what? Minimize the losses on the dust front. And that's what I'll do. And in fact, this video cast is fairly long already, about 30 minutes, actually 35. So I cannot end it just yet, because if I were to end it now and reload the game, it would be winter again, which would be a very... Are you really going to attack me? Yes, you are. Alright then, but now I have a fairly decent army to fight those guys. So let's go ahead and fight and see how well it goes. I could go into manual battle, but I think it could have gone quite poorly as well. It's hard to say. It's really quite hard to say. Alright. You go like there, you go like there. I'll see. After this battle, maybe off camera I'll go for auto battle just to see if this could have gone better or not. Alright, this guy has 2 movement. He can fly. So I'll move like so and so. And basically make sure that those guys cannot make it to me in the first 10, but I will be able to do so, and I'll have a decent set of bonuses as well to kill them. So I'll do it like so. And unfortunately my unit's deployed, so no, I'm still safely out of range, which is nice. Alright, everybody focus on the same Kazanji if you can, thank you very much. Meanwhile, my preachers, both of my preachers are before the hero, so I do want to buff my hero, and the other preacher is going to buff the first fanatic that will attack, because this fanatic is the fanatic. He's the older one, firstly, and this fanatic is also the one that will take more damage because he attacks first. Actually, does he? Yes, he will attack first. So I want to make sure that because he'll take a lot of damage, he'll be fine. Alternatively, I could buff the Ended, so the next stand they will do even more damage, but I almost can guarantee that the demons will focus on the Ended as well. Now there is a problem. My units are almost guaranteed to cluster up and allow the demons for devastating chain lightning strikes. But because the pathing AI is sometimes very dumb, I cannot efficiently plan my orders in such a way to avoid this, unfortunately. So I just have to hope that my units will not set up in a completely, utterly pointless and stupid manner. So let's start attacking the enemy. The enemy does not have any extra bonuses when counter-attacking, so it could be fairly okay for me. Unfortunately, I really wish that this fanatic would have attacked this guy, the demons, from this angle, because then I would have the sweep strike back on the next stand, but whatever. And now, can you see what is going to happen? Yeah, unfortunate. Wait a second. Oh yeah, okay, for a second I thought that my chain lightning didn't work. But the problem is now that those demons will get a beautiful, beautiful chain lightning, because, yeah, pathing AI is really, really stupid, unfortunately. And because those guys are flying, there's no way for me to predict when they are going to land, so I cannot be like, oh yeah, you should move to this tower and then attack. Because if this guy walks away from this tower, what my Ended would do is walk to this tower regardless, and then just do nothing. And I cannot afford to do that. I need to try and kill those guys ASAP. Even though the chain lightning I'm about to face is going to be super, super painful, but I think I'll be able to survive it. So Yuda says, please buff up the guys who didn't buff up previously. So you buff up this guy, and you buff up the hero. Nice and easy. Hopefully those demons will try to attack my not cultists, but oh wow, that was really nice. That was a classic blow on all of this stuff, so that's something enjoyable. And I actually got healed on the fanatic, but the problem is one of my preachers actually died as well, which is not ideal. I hope they would survive a single strike. They didn't though, and I do need to have some of those guys in my army. It's okay though, I guess. One demon is dead already, so that's good enough. I'm going to be chain lightning again, but that's okay-ish. Let's just focus on killing this guy. It's going to oh no, he's going to focus on my preacher. You know what? That's actually for the best. I do need my preachers to buff up my units, but at the same time, I would much rather have my preachers take the damage instead of my main army to take the damage. This is actually a very interesting idea. If AI prioritizes killing preachers so badly, maybe I should have preachers and just use them as baits. That's not a very bad idea, you know what? I might try and do that. Use preachers as baits for the AI. Alright, let's go ahead and try to convert this village ASAP. Hopefully the quest I'll gain from it will be an easy one to complete. It might not be, then I'll just bribe them or kill them if necessary. I'd much rather bribe them or do a quest for them, obviously, because then I don't have to spend as much influence on converting them. But, you know, if I have to, I'll just kill them. Alright, dear city, you don't need to focus this much on making both streets anymore. Please give me more population ASAP. Please also give me more dust if you can, because I need it quite badly. Actually, both streets, 4 turns, 5 turns. Alright, let's make it in 4 turns if at all possible, while also gaining a decent amount of dust. Thankfully, I don't need to work on science, because I have a fairly decent science gain anyway. Let's compare myself to the Drakens, actually. Of course, I'm very far behind in terms of most of things, but what I care about is food. Food, yeah, there was winter, so we both went down, but we are more or less similar, so that's good. This is where I converted the village, I assume. Industry-wise, yeah, dust-wise, science-wise, way ahead of me, unfortunately. But again, they are endless AI, they cheat like crazy, so far I didn't learn much from this. I just see that they exist. They're not too crazy, too far away from me, so it's okay. In terms of score. Alright. Still waiting to be able to buy out my Cultists here, which would be great. Other heroes to consider would... Yeah, there are other heroes that are also good for commanding armies, and off camera I'll have a better look at them. But generally speaking, you do want to have Cultist heroes leading your armies, because first, they are really good. Secondly, if you have an army with no Cultist unit, it still is considered a Cultist army for conversion purposes if you have a hero on this army. So, I failed to complete this quest. Well, duh, that was a given. So let's go ahead and parley with this faction. Please, easy quest, easy quest, easy quest. Find the monsters in... I hate you so much, game. This is so far away. How much does it cost to bribe them? 134 dust. 134 dust. What does this quest give me? It gives me emeralds. Not a very bad reward. I'm gonna bribe them, however. I think I'm gonna bribe them. But this is a decision I can make on the next turn. Ladies and gentlemen, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Power. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll see you online.